I had an unexpected visitor drop by my expert mode world today. Now behind me is the final boss, the Monolith, a creature that all of us have seen inside of the brand new LEGO Group islands that have been releasing, and he comes with very spooky surprises. Because if you didn't know, he's the one gatekeeping the 2 free LEGO decor bundles. So what I want to do is get everybody in the Halloween spirit and teach you guys how to build the Monolith, and that starts off by putting down one large car jack with a small car jack above that. Now if you guys are doing this in your survival worlds, you guys can turn on fly mode, but inside of your expert mode worlds, I recommend carrying some extra wood with you in order to place down stairs to get a little higher up. Now before we deep dive into this build, I do want to let you guys know that this uses both free and paid for parts, so you may not have every single part used in today's video, but you can easily replace it with items that are the same size. On top of that, I would also like to mention that we will be using advanced techniques in order to flip things or to turn them upside down. Because of that, this may be a little bit trickier for some people, so I will make sure to slow down the video so you guys can copy this exactly as it is. So first things first, we're going to build the base of the Monolith, which uses an all black floor, which is the 4x4x1 floor piece, which can be found inside of the Haunted Lego Pass. Now once you're done building your 3x3 floor on top of the car jack, you're going to place down one wooden foundation. You're going to place this directly in the center and then attach the controllable swivel on each side. Now this doesn't have to be the controllable swivel, however this is the best way that I found that this works. Placing this on all 4 sides is now going to allow you to do sideways builds, which means that we can actually have black walls even though they're technically not in the game just yet. Now in order to give ourselves black walls, we're going to go into our recent builds and grab that same 4x4x1 piece. Once you've done that, you're going to place 3 of these on the other side of one of those swivels, and then the 4th one you're going to need to nudge down exactly 1 spot. What that's going to do is rest directly underneath and once again give it that look of being a black wall. Now you want to repeat this all 4 times around this square here. So on each one of these swivels, you are going to build 3 out and then nudge the 4th one down. So once you've repeated that process, you're now going to have these 4 small walls surrounding your area. You can now use your snap tool in order to build your black walls on the Monolith. Now what you want to do is go 4 up and then 3 wide. That way that you have 4 going straight on top, but the 3 will connect each one of these walls together. Now you want to leave area for you to leave this area if you guys are inside of expert mode, or if you guys are on survival or cozy, you guys can fly out of the top. The front of this piece is going to be where the eye is for the Monolith, so that's why I'm not really building in that area. Now we do want the front of this to be open, so rather than connecting that top piece with those walls, you want to leave them open and grab a 6x2x1 piece. If you have the battle pass, you guys can use the exact same color as we did previously with that 6x2x1 piece. Simply go ahead and use your snap tool to connect this on the top, and then you could actually continue to snap around these corners. So snap directly below that squared wall twice and then flip your piece around again and place that underneath. That is going to give you this perfect little window here out front that is going to place where your eye is going to be. Now I know that that part was a little complicated, so let me play it out for you guys so you can just watch me do it rather than me talking over and explaining what to do. Now, because this is a relatively complicated build, I have to show you how to do the roof of the monolith, and you are going to need to continue to stack that wood foundation. Because we're building sideways, upside down, and using all these little tricks, you can't just snap one of these floors on top of the wall and expect it to lay flat. So you're going to need to build the foundation all the way up and then nudge it over to the wall to connect it. Then you could simply snap each of these pieces on and fill in the roof. Now again, I do recommend keeping a hole in there or a gap that you can fill in later on. That way you can continue to get inside of here because we still have a lot of work to do. Now on the outside of the monolith, we're going to build his legs, or the tentacles that come from him. These are going to be the 10 by 1 by 6 haunted stair railings. Now with these, you're kind of going to just eyeball this one, but what I prefer to do is to place 2 of these directly in the center and then nudge 2 spots over 2 separate times in order to do this on the other side. Now right here, I'm making a mistake, but I'm keeping this in here to teach you guys this lesson as well. Rather than going around the front of the monolith, this is not going to be on the opposite side of our square that we have here. You actually want to put these tentacles on the back side directly next to him, as there are a difference in the build types that we're going to use for the back tentacles compared to the front ones. Now to finish up your back tentacles, you're going to use those same railings yet again, and then make sure that all of these are spaced out. You can walk around the back side to notice that all of them are the same height, and also start around the exact same area. Now on the front of the monolith, we are going to use those exact same railings, but we're only going to do 2 of them this time. So we're going to put 2 towards the back side, 2 towards the middle here, and then we're going to leave the front, as we are going to use different pieces up there. Make sure that every single time that you are placing these, you are using the nudge feature after building one previously. That way you could just very quickly snap it directly next to the piece and make it look like a thicker tentacle. Same exact thing applies to the other side, as you're going to continue to use that 10 by 1 by 6 build and place this over on this side. Remember, we're only going to put 2 tentacles on here, as we're going to use different pieces very shortly. Next up is a 6 by 1 by 6 railing. This is found inside of one of the Spider-Man builds. We're going to now place just 2 of these on the front side of this, so 1 on either side. Now we're going to put these very close to the front, as again, these are going to be kind of his hands, as we see inside of his original picture. So we're going to place both of these down, but now we do have to do yet again another very tricky build, which does take a little bit of time to get correct, and in my final build is not done properly, but I will demonstrate exactly how you need to do this. So by using a 6 by 2 by 1 floor, we want to make sure that this is on one of those front tentacles. So we're going to place one, and then we're going to snap one below it, but keep in mind it's not going to remain that thick, as we will be removing the bottom one. You need to do this on both sides, and something that I found is that for whatever reason on the opposite side it was not working properly. Take your time, it will be able to snap on there sideways. It just does get a little bit wacky because we are using different builds. Now we have to continue to get a little bit crazy here, and now we're going to grab the small thruster and place this on the edge of each one of these floor pieces. So 2 of them should be located directly at the bottom of these floors. Now this is going to be so that we can place different objects on this part of your build, despite the fact that they won't be on the front, but will now be located on the side. Now the nightmarish curl or the nightmarish swivel is what we are going to be using here. What you need to do is have this lined up with your thruster and then nudge it up in order to lock it in. Now again, because we're using weird building styles, this is very difficult to get to work properly. But what I found works best is lining this up with the very corner of one of these thrusters, and that should help you line it up properly. Now you will need to twist and turn this as well, because we do want this to make it look like it's the monolith Monolith's hands. Now, from standing above one of the thrusters, this does make it seem a little bit easier to do. So I rotated this to be pointing to the left side or towards the other hand, and I was able to get that to lay onto that floor piece. And with the other one, I found that being underneath of it was what actually worked and kind of helped building this part. So I was able to snap both of these into place despite this one not being perfectly on top of it, which I'm not too happy about, but it's not the end of the world. And just to explain why I'm not too happy about it, you do have to break the bottom one of those floor pieces so it's not as thick. And you can see that one of the hands is on there perfectly while the other one is actually hanging down just a little bit. That does have to do with the fact that I didn't line them up perfectly, but you guys can obviously fix that if that's something that's going to bother you on your build. Next up, we have to add those tentacles on there. So once again, we're going to take a small thruster and place this on the very end of both tentacles. Now we're going to do this to every single one of them and then grab the Zesty Amphora, or this black vase that is inside of your decor items. Add this to the front of one of these tentacles and repeat that across every single one of them. Now once you're done, remove every single one of these thrusters from underneath, and the tentacles are not needed to be worked on any longer. They are going to be very stable as far as when this thing gets brought down, and it will not break, and those monolith legs do look really solid. Now when you're back inside of the monolith, you're going to take a controllable swivel and you're going to move this back 3 times. You want this to pretty much be in the center of your build, and then grab the log pillar 01 and place that in the center of your swivel. Once you've done that, use a steering wheel from one of your driver's seats and continue to swivel this until the front flat part of this is actually facing outside. Now once you're on the outside, you're then going to place down a controllable swivel on there. Now once you've done this, you're going to take a cottage table and place this on top of the swivel. I know this is a little bit complicated and confusing, but you're going to place the controllable swivel on that pillar that's facing the outside, the cottage table on front of that, and then break that swivel. Because what this is going to allow you to do is actually see the white part of the eye. So with that white part of the eye, you're going to place down another green controllable swivel on there, because that is going to give you that green outer line of his eyeball. Next up, you're going to grab the Countess stool, which can be found inside of your seating area, and put that directly over the center of that eye, which is now going to make this look like a green eyeball. Now that the monolith is pretty much complete, all that we want to do is fill in all of the gaps that we have. So using the same black floor pieces, we just want to fill in the back that we were walking in and out of, and then also use the square pieces again on top to close this out. Now before this video ends, I will show you exactly what this looks like at nighttime. However, there are ways to make this monolith flyable, and if you guys would like to see a video of that, make sure that you guys not only like this video, but make sure that you guys comment down below as well. Once you've filled in all of those gaps, you can remove both of these car jacks, and that will drop the monolith down, and due to those iron pieces at the bottom of his tentacles, he will not take any damage or break. And just like that, if you follow all of the instructions, you can have the monolith sitting in the corner of your village as well. This is an incredible build. It's very nice, but super simple, which is something that I was definitely looking for when making this. You could absolutely make it a little bit crazier by adding different lights to the inside, putting lights around it, or doing different things like that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, this was Crafty, and I'm out. Peace. But YouTube thinks that you're gonna like that video that's up there in the top left, and you may also want to hit that subscribe button in the top right. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.